493 words about eating fruit in Pac-Man. Published on my website, accordionsprout.com, 6th of May, 2024. I never take the time to eat the fruit in Pac-Man. I was thinking about this while rewatching Tim Rogers' Action Button review of Pac-Man because he spends a few minutes at the end of the video discussing Pac-Man's sounds, specifically the sound of eating fruit. Onomatopoeically, yes, that is a word, the sound is an ooh. The game produces a dipping noise that resembles swallowing, which is unlike any sound Pac-Man makes when eating the white dots of the maze. The latter sounds are supposed to resemble eating because they sound like paku, which is a Japanese onomatopoeia for eating ravenously. Pac-Man is, above all things, a video game about eating. The main verb of Pac-Man is eating. Pac-Man roams the halls of this virtual maze, attempting to consume anything and everything he can, and a level is not considered completed until all 244 pellets have been consumed. Likewise, Pac-Man can also eat the ghosts that chase him through the maze once he's ingested a powder pellet. As for the fruit, well, they're just there for flavor. I apologize. That joke was low-hanging fruit. Forgive me. Players can go an entire round without ever eating the fruit, and some of them aren't even fruit. In sequence of appearance, the elements are cherries, strawberry, orange, apple, melon, Galaxian ship, bell, and finally keys until level 256 when the game crashes. As for the fruit themselves, they were incorporated to add more color to the game, but were also inspired by slot machines in casinos which displayed fruit on their wheels. Consuming fruit in Pac-Man do not have any in-game benefits other than increasing the maximum score the player can attain in the game. If a player cares about points, then it makes sense to eat the fruit before they disappear. But there's another option for motivations: simply eating into itself. As Pac-Man consumes anything and everything in the maze, the player can get lost in the sheer pleasure of consumption. It's fun eating everything and anything, and as ghosts attempt to stop me from moving, it makes me want to find a way around them even more. Consumption is a universal pleasure, and one of the reasons players, regardless of gender, enjoyed Pac-Man. Video games like Space Invaders, Galaga, and Asteroids are about shooting aliens and objects in and from outer space. But Pac-Man is an abstract game about eating things. I'll almost certainly never pilot a spaceship that fires lasers, but I have eaten cherries, oranges, and apples. There's an intellectual and emotional reaction to consuming these objects, and even though I rarely bother to eat the fruit, their presence is a well-executed aesthetic component that only further endears me to the game. I want Pac-Man to succeed and eat the fruit and pellets. And even if I miss the window and consume the strawberry before it disappears, don't eat the strawberry before it disappears, there's satisfaction in knowing that the next level will have more fruit waiting for me. Joshua Jammer Smith, 6th of May, 2024. Howdy, I'm Jammer. Alright, so, as always, first off, before anything else, thank y'all so much for listening. I'm going to say it over and over again until I am blue in the face, but seriously, thank you for listening. You could have been watching shorts, you could have been watching TikToks, heck, you could have been reading a book, or you could have been playing Pac-Man, but instead you were willing to give me your time, and I'm endlessly grateful, truly. Now let's go over the necessary claptrap. If you like this channel, if you like my writing, if you like my visual art, please, I do have a Patreon, and it is literally $1 a month. That's it. There's only one tier. It's $1. I treat this kind of like street musicians. If you like the music, or in this case, if you like the content, the writing, the art, what have you, please throw $1 in my hat once a month, once a year, or even just do a one-time donation. Seriously, I'm not picky. This is purely designed the way because groceries are expensive, like really expensive. And then there's rent and clothes and all that jazz. So anything you can do to help, I'll be appreciative. And then likewise, this is YouTube. So please like, share, and subscribe. I mean, seriously, please do that because one, it helps me see that people are actually listening and they like this. And then two, YouTube's algorithms are a thing. All right. Now let's actually talk about the video itself. I mean, it's an under 500 word essay, so there's not too much more than what was actually here. I do want to make one note. I messed up a sentence at the very end, but that's because of the wording I did in the original essay in the last paragraph that I really need to go back in there and fix. It was supposed to read, and even if I miss the window and consume the strawberry before it disappears, there's satisfaction in knowing that the next level will have more fruit waiting for me. That sentence doesn't make sense contextually. So I'm going to fix it. So by the time you're actually hearing this essay, it will hopefully have been fixed. But I'll, as always, post a link to the essay in the description section below. So please, feel free to check it out. I wrote this essay because, like I note, I'm a huge fan of the video game designer, critic, and just general aficionado Tim Rogers. I am just like a total fanboy for that dude, and I will post a link to his review in the description section. It's also in my original essay. But his video essay about Pac-Man, which I think is honestly the shortest one he's done in terms of his own channel, Action Button Reviews, it just blew my mind the first time I played it. And it's partly the reason why, since I watched it, I have played like five live round. Oh, that's my kitty cat Jones. I've been playing a ton of Pac-Man. Like, I was never a Pac-Man guy growing up, and then after watching his video, I was obsessed. And playing the game as often as I have, I start to notice the patterns in the game, and one of them is just the fruit. I mean, they're an interesting element, and in a game that's entirely composed of eating, it makes sense that there would be fruit, but at the same time, their unique placement, they'll always appear underneath the monster box or the ghost box right in the center of the screen. And if you play Pac-Man, at least the way I play Pac-Man, I typically find myself hugging the corners and trying to collect the pellets in that way, trying to move around into the open spaces. Honestly, kind of freaks me out. So on that level, I understand why I don't eat the fruit, but at the same time too, like I noted, there's no benefit to eating the fruit. They're just there. It's almost like Pac-Man's equivalent of a side quest, you know? It's like the main game is eating all of the pellets, but then there's this fruit that pops out, and it's like, do you go for the fruit? I mean, you can, but it's not going to break the game if you don't. So honestly, looking at this now, I wish I had written something about like that this fruit is like Pac-Man's version of a side quest, but you know what? That's maybe for another day for another essay. But seriously, if you haven't played Pac-Man recently, it's really easy. You can get it on Nintendo Switch, you can get it on PC, you can get it on Xbox or PlayStation for all of like $5. And I know $5 for one of the oldest video games of all time seems like a lot, but you're getting the arcade port. You're not getting any of the Atari ports, which I've got an essay about that in the works. It should be coming out sometime next year. And you're not getting like the Game Boy version, which sucks. It's just the original arcade and all of its beautiful colors and all of its beautiful sounds. It's a great game. So seriously, go play some Pac-Man. I promise you, it's worth your time. And with that, I think that's it. So thank you again, y'all, for listening. I tremendously appreciate it. And hey, go play some video games.